Hare Krishna, welcome to everyone. Welcome to this overview of the Bhagavad Gita as it is. Today we shall be looking at chapter number 11, the Vishwarupa Darshanam, the universal form.
Hope everybody can hear me. Hare Krishna, welcome to everyone. Welcome to this overview of
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tatho Jayamudirayed Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtiki Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramanandamadhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nidinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are looking at chapter 11. Chapter 11 is Vishwarupa Darshanam. Very wonderful form of Krishna being shown to Arjuna. So, in chapter 10, Krishna concluded by saying that with a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support the entire universe. Ekam Shena Stito Jagat. So, now, because Krishna said that I am pervading the entire creation with a fragment, now Arjuna wants to see that all-pervasive form of the Lord. On one hand, Arjuna is sitting on the chariot, Krishna is his chariot driver, his Sarathi. It is that same Krishna who is pervading and supporting the entire universe. You see? So now Arjuna is saying, please show me your all-pervading form. So, in the first, this chapter, the first 8 verses, Arjuna's request to see the universal form and Krishna's description of what the universal form is about, And then from the 9th to the 31st verse, Sanjaya is describing Arjuna's vision to Dhritarashtra. We should not forget, this narration is basically going on between Dhritarashtra and Sanjaya. In the very beginning of Bhagavad Gita, we saw Dhritarashtra asking the question to Sanjaya, my sons and Pandu's sons, what did they do in Kurukshetra? That was the question by Dhritarashtra, and that is how this whole narration started. So, here in between again now Sanjaya speaks about how Arjuna is seeing this Vishwarupa of Krishna. And then in 3 verses Krishna speaks about how he is Kala, and that's very important for us to understand. And then from verse 35 to 46 it speaks about Arjuna's prayers, because now in the previous chapter we already saw Arjuna calling Krishna as Param Brahma, Param Dhama, and now in this, after seeing the Vishwarupa of Krishna, Arjuna offers further prayers to Krishna as the all in all of the entire universe. And then in the last verses 47 to 55, speaks about how only pure devotees can actually see Krishna's two-handed form holding the flute. So this is how this chapter is laid out. So in the beginning of the chapter, it begins with Arjuna speaking to Krishna. Arjuna tells Krishna, by my hearing the instructions you have kindly given me about these most confidential spiritual subjects, my illusion has now been dispelled. Mohoyam vigado mama. Arjuna tells Krishna, my moha, my illusion has been driven away. And then he calls Krishna Padmanayana, O lotus-eyed one, I have heard from you in detail about the appearance and disappearance of every living entity, and I have realized your inexhaustible glories. Arjuna is telling Krishna that I have now realized that your glories are inexhaustible, never exhaustive. Why? Because you can go on glorifying Krishna till the end of time, and still you wouldn't have glorified Krishna enough. That is actually how glorious Krishna is. Every activity about Krishna, how glorious it is unfathomable for an ordinary living entity. And then goes on to say, O greatest of all personalities, O supreme form, though I see you here before me in your actual position as you have described yourself, I wish to see how you have entered into this cosmic manifestation. I want to see that form of yours. Because Krishna told him, Vishtabhyaham idam kritsnam. He told, I have entered this cosmic manifestation, ekam shena sthito jagat, with a small fragment of myself. I have pervaded this entire creation. So now Arjuna is asking, I want to see that form. Previously, in the 10th chapter, we already saw that Arjuna is asking Krishna, show me your vibhudis, your aishwaryas, and Krishna gave 82 examples in that chapter. So now Arjuna is saying, I want to see that. You spoke about your opulences. Now let me see that in that form as it is. Arjuna already, he said that this moha has already gone. Mohoyam vigato mama. Krishna, my moha, my illusion is already gone. And that means that Arjuna, now he understands that Krishna is not just his friend alone. Krishna is not just a relative of his, but Krishna is the source of everything. So, that enlightenment Arjuna has already received. So, why is Arjuna asking this question? So, Arjuna is asking this question so that Krishna's divinity is established for everyone to understand. You see? So, Arjuna wants Krishna to show this form not for himself basically. It is so that everybody will understand when we say a sweeping statement that Krishna is the source of everything. How do you substantiate it? It is through the universal form. That is what we are going to see. And then Arjuna says to Krishna that if you think I am able to behold your cosmic form, O my Lord, O Master of all mystic power, then kindly show me that unlimited self. So, Krishna is the Yogeshwara. He is the master of all mystic powers. And Arjuna is calling Krishna, O master of all mystic powers, kindly show me that unlimited universal self, that unlimited Vishwarupa form of yours, I would like to see. And then Krishna says, my dear Arjuna, see now my opulences, hundreds and thousands of varied, divine and multicolored forms. See here the different manifestations of Adityas, Vasus, Rudras, Ashwini Kumaras and all the other Devatas. Behold the many wonderful things which no one has ever seen or heard before. O Arjuna, whether you wish to see, whatever you wish to see, behold at once in this body of mine. This universal form can show you whatever you now desire to see and whatever you may want to see in the future. Everything moving and non-moving is completely here in one place. You see? Krishna is telling Arjuna, now you wanted to see, now you see. But how do you actually see? It's very important. Krishna says that I am going to show you. One thing we understand from this is that to see Krishna, first of all, Krishna should become willing. Krishna should become so merciful that he allows us to see. Allows us to see. Pashya, pashyanti means seeing. How does that happen? When Krishna allows us to see, then we are able to see. This wonderful form, Krishna says, nobody has seen before. A different Vishwarupa, Krishna already showed. You know to who? To Duryodhana. Before the Kurukshetra Yuddha started, Yudhishthira Maharaj, he never wanted the war. He is always a very peace-loving person. And he sent Krishna as a messenger, peace messenger, you know. And Krishna went to Duryodhana to speak peace. But then Duryodhana, he tried to, lord over Krishna. So Duryodhana said, I am going to tie you down, I am going to put you in prison, etc., etc. And that is the time Krishna showed one Vishwarupa to Duryodhana, So even then, Duryodhana could not actually see it. Even though he saw it, he said, this is some magic show. Don't show this to me. You see? So, just imagine. This is what I said. Seeing actually means something else, not just seeing. Seeing with understanding. That is seeing. You see? And then Krishna tells Arjuna that you cannot see me with your present eyes. Therefore, I give you divine eyes. You see? So, this is a very specific form that Krishna is going to show Arjuna, and to see that it is not possible for everyone to see. So, Krishna is telling Arjuna, I give you divine eyes so that you can see. Why? Because this particular form that Krishna is going to show is very, very rare. It is very, very rare, and it is something that nobody has ever seen before and nobody can ever see again. This Krishna himself says. So this is going to be such a wonderful, such a horrific, such a, you can't imagine, that kind of a Rupam Krishna is going to show to Arjuna. And see, the devotee actually, he wants to see Krishna as Shyamasundara only, playing the flute, always in that wonderfully smiling, loving look on Krishna's face. That's what the devotee wants to see. But here Arjuna is telling him, you show me this great form through which you are pervading the entire universe. Why? Only because for other people who may question this, so that they are given to understand properly, this is how the Supreme Personality of Godhead can pervade everything. Only for that reason, Arjuna is asking Krishna, you please show me your universal form, your Vishwarupa. And then now Sanjaya speaks. Sanjaya says, O king, having spoken thus, the Supreme Lord of all mystic power, the personality of Godhead displayed his universal form to Arjuna. So from this you can also understand that Sanjaya is also empowered to see that form. Otherwise, how he can describe it? You see, this is Vyasa's special mercy on Sanjaya, that everything he can see. So actually, this Vishwarupa is seen by Arjuna on the battlefield and Sanjaya sitting in Hastinapura in the palace of Dhritarashtra. And then it says, Arjuna saw in that universal form unlimited mouths, unlimited eyes, unlimited wonderful visions. The form was decorated with many celestial ornaments and bore many divine upraised weapons. He wore celestial garlands and garments, and many divine scents were smeared all over his body. All was wondrous, brilliant, unlimited, all expanding. If hundreds of thousands of suns were to rise at once into the sky, their radiance might resemble the effulgence of the Supreme Person in that universal form. At that time, Arjuna could see in the universal form the Lord, the unlimited expansions of the universe situated in one place, although divided into many, many thousands. You see, very, very significant. He says that, you see, Krishna and Arjuna are sitting in this chariot. You must understand. Arjuna is sitting, Krishna is sitting in front, holding the horses. The ropes are in Krishna's hands. And like this sitting, they are having this dialogue. And sitting there, Arjuna is seeing. What he is seeing? He is seeing this entire form. So brilliant as hundreds of thousands of suns. You know, hundreds of thousands of sun, if they are together, how brilliant that will be. So such a brilliant form Arjuna is seeing, and he is seeing many universes. Everything in one place he is seeing. That is why I said we cannot imagine, we cannot fathom how wonderfully great this universal form of the Lord is. Then, bewildered and astonished, his hair standing on end, Arjuna bowed his head to offer obeisances and with folded hands began to pray to the Supreme Lord. So now that he has seen, you see, now Arjuna is now with that astonishment of having seen this particular facet of Krishna. So he is astonished, and the only reaction from Arjuna is that he is folding his hands and begin to pray. And then Arjuna is telling, my dear Krishna, I see assembled in your body all the devatas, all the other living entities. I see Brahma sitting on the lotus flower as well as Lord Shiva and all the sages and the divine serpents. O Lord of universe, O universal form, I see in your body many arms, bellies, mouths and eyes expanded everywhere without limit. I see in you no end, no middle and no beginning. Your form is difficult to see because of its glaring effulgence spreading on all sides like blazing fire or the immeasurable radiance of the sun. Yet I see this glowing form everywhere adorned with various crowns, clubs, discs. And Arjuna continues to say, you are the supreme primal objective. You are the ultimate resting place of all this universe. You are inexhaustible. You are the oldest. You are the maintainer of eternal religion, Sanatan Dharma. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is my opinion, Arjuna says. So, now Arjuna understood what inexhaustible, oldest, ultimate Ashraya of the entire universe. You are the supreme objective. You are the maintainer of the Sanatana Dharma. So he is speaking about how immeasurable, aprameyam. It is beyond our prameya, beyond our measurement. We cannot fathom how the Supreme Lord actually pervades everything. And Arjuna is also mentioning that you are without beginning, you are without a middle, you are without an end. That means Krishna is Adi, Krishna is Madhya, Krishna is Anta. Everything is Krishna only. And speaks about numberless arms, the sun and moon as your eyes, blazing fire coming from your mouth, burning the entire universe by your own radiance. You see? So this is Krishna's Kala Rupa. That Krishna is going to say in the next few verses. And he says, although you are one, you spread throughout the sky and the planets and all the space between. O great one, seeing this wondrous and terrible form, all the planetary systems are perturbed. So we also understand from this that not only is Arjuna seeing this form, all the devatas in the different lokas, they are all watching this. And so Arjuna is saying everybody is now very perturbed, very disturbed. They don't know what's going on. All the hosts of the demigods are surrendering before you and entering into you. Some of them very much afraid are offering prayers with folded hands. Hosts of great sages and perfected beings crying Om Shanti are praying to you by singing the Vedic hymns. So, the devatas are going, they are saying Pahi, 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 and they are going, and all these sages are saying Swasti, Swasti, Swasti. So, all these things are going on simply because the Lord has just shown his Vishwarupam. And Arjuna continues to say, all the various manifestations of Lord Shiva, the Adityas, the Vasus, the Sadhyas, the Vishwadevas, the Ashwinis, the Maruts, the forefathers, Gandharvas, Yakshas, Asuras, are all beholding you in wonder. So, various manifestations of the Ekadasha Rudras, the Dwadasha Adityas, the Ashtavasus, the Sadhyas, the Vishwadevas, the Ashwini Kumaras, the Maruts, all these people, all various levels of Devatas, they are all looking at Krishna in wonder. That how this form is pervading everything in one, in one form you are able to see everything situated within that form. O mighty armed one, all the planets with their demigods are disturbed at seeing your great form with its many faces, eyes, arms, thighs, legs. In the beginning of the Purusha Sukta prayer, it says, Om Sahasra Shirisha Purusha Sahasraksha Sahasrapat. Talks about thousands of heads. Sahasra Shirsha Purusha. That personality with thousands of heads. Sahasra does not mean 1000. Sahasra is used to denote thousands. Sahasra Shirisha, Sahasraksha, thousands of eyes. Sahasrapad, thousands of legs. So that is the prayer offered by all the great devatas, the Purusha Sukta. So same here, now Arjuna is saying that everybody is able to see that all your, unlimited number of heads and unlimited number of arms, and now Arjuna is saying again, oh, all pervading Vishnu, seeing you with your many radiant colors touching the sky, your gaping mouths and your great glowing eyes, my mind is perturbed by fear. I can no longer maintain my steadiness or equilibrium of mind. Now Arjuna is completely lost his equilibrium. Krishna says, O Deva Deva, O Ashraya of the entire world, please be gracious to me. I cannot keep my balance seeing your blazing death-like faces and awful teeth. I am bewildered. So, now he is seeing the Kala Anala. Arjuna is able to see the fire of death. And Arjuna says, I can see. What am I seeing? All the sons of Dhritarashtra along with their allied kings and Bhishma, Drona, Karna and our chief soldiers are all rushing into your fearful mouths. And I see some trapped with the head smashed between your teeth. You see, this is the Kala Rupa of the Supreme Lord that Arjuna is seeing. That is what Krishna told Arjuna, that in this form you are going to see what you wanted to see, what you want to see, and what you will see in the future. Everything in 1 second, Krishna showed Arjuna past, present and future. Just imagine. It's all happening because Krishna is very merciful to Arjuna and he is revealing this particular form of his. Although Arjuna, being a wonderful devotee, he is not very much interested to see this. But just to establish the fact that how everything is, when we keep saying that everything is in Krishna, so difficult to fathom. Even this is very unfathomable, but at least we get some description thanks to Sanjaya. So, goes on to say, as many waves of the rivers flow into the ocean, so do all these great warriors enter blazing into your mouths. So everyone, all are, dashing to their destruction in that blazing fire that is coming out of the Vishwarupa mouth of Krishna. So this is very significant. The waves of the river flowing into the ocean and moths entering fire. So, how different people approach differently. like rivers, they flow into the ocean naturally, right? Whereas moth entering into fire, that is like, they enter consciously and they perish. So some of the soldiers, because of the demoniac behavior, they are like entering like moths and getting killed. And some others, they are fighting as it is a duty to fight, and they are also entering into that blazing fire of death. You see? So Arjuna says, I can see that you are devouring people from all sides. You are manifest with terrible scorching rays. And then Arjuna is asking Krishna, "O Lord, such a fearful form of yours, please tell me, who are you? I offer my obeisances to you. Please be gracious. You are the primal Lord. I want to know about you, for I do not know what your mission is." So, suddenly Arjuna realized that this game is being played at some other level. All the time he was thinking, I am the one killing, I am the one who will get the sin, I am the one who will lose my name, I am the one who will lose my relatives. I. Right? This is how we all think. This is our biggest weakness. We all think that I am the center of the universe. Right? And whatever is happening to me is the most significant happening in the universe. Whether it is an ant biting me or whether it is anything to do with me, that's like the most important thing that is happening in the universe at this moment in time. But now Arjuna, having seen this whole thing, now he is beginning to understand where his position is, what his position is. So he is asking Krishna, I do not know what your mission is, please tell me. So then Krishna says, Kalosmi loka kshayakrit pravruddho lokan samahartumiha pravritta ritepi tvam na bhavishyanti sarve yevastita pratyanikeshu yodha. Kalo asmi loka kshayakrit pravruddho. Krishna tells Arjuna, I am time, the great destroyer of the worlds, and I have come here to destroy all people. With the exception of you, the Pandavas, all the soldiers here on both sides will be killed. You see? Kala Rupa. This is what we say. Time is a manifestation of Krishna's energy only. Time is a manifestation of Krishna's energy. Nobody escapes time. Everything will be devoured by time. That is why we say nothing will stand the test of time. You may think that you will be famous for 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 years maybe. But beyond that, finished. Kingdoms, great dynasties, last for 100, 200, 500, 1000 years. After that, finished. So nothing can actually stand the test of time actually. Why? The time is Krishna. So only those who surrender to Krishna, who is the controller of the time, they are the ones who stand the test of time. Their fame will be Shashwata forever. That is why even today, as we discuss Krishna, so we discuss Arjuna. Correct? Because in some way, he is connected to Krishna intimately. So he is being glorified. Right? So Krishna says, I am here to kill everybody. And indirectly now, Krishna has told, not indirectly, directly he is telling Arjuna, what? Even if you don't fight, all of these people are going to be killed. Simple. So, Arjuna cannot do anything about these people's deaths. He cannot save anyone's life by giving up this fight. He cannot. Why? Because Krishna says, I am Kala, I have come here as Kala, I want to finish all these things. I have decided, I have made up my mind. You see? So that is why when we speak of Kurukshetra, we speak about Kurukshetra is a war designed by Krishna. Krishna is the designer of this war. That is why so wonderfully Krishna played the mission of a peacemaker. You think if Krishna actually wanted to make peace, couldn't he have made peace? Of course he could have. But no, he wanted the war to happen. Why? To prove to everybody that if you are like Duryodhana, you will meet your end in the most horrific manner. So here, Krishna has decided that all these warriors who are now arrayed in this battlefield are going to be killed. You see? And so, opposition is already killed by Krishna. But then he tells Arjuna something very, very interesting. Tasmat tvamuttishta yasho labasva jitva shatrun bhungshva rajyam samruddham mayaivate nihata purvameva nimitta matram bhavasavya sachin. Most important thing told by Krishna here is nimitta matram bhava savya sachin. He says, Tasmatvam uttishta yasho labhasva. Why? Jitva shatrun, that is, he is saying uttishta, get up. Yasho labhasva, you are going to get yashas, you are going to get fame by fighting and winning. Jitva shatrun, you are going to win over the enemies. And bhunksva rajyam samruddham, and you are going to have a samruddha rajya, a rajyam, a kingdom with all facilities, all aishwaryas you are going to get. Why? Mayaivate nihata purvameva. I already decided that these people are going to be dead. I have already killed these people, practically speaking. So what do you have to become? Nimitta matram bhava. You become simply an instrument, nimitta. Savyasachin. Oh, great carrier of the bow, Savyasachi, you know. So great Savyasachi, now you just get up and fight and become glorious. You see, Savyasachi also means that somebody who can fight with either left hand or right hand. Okay, but Arjuna is now given the opportunity. Krishna says, I have done everything. Now you just stand in front and become glorious. That is, Krishna is the director, Arjuna is the hero. You understand? That is why I said Krishna designed the war. And he chose Arjuna as the hero. And until today, Arjuna is the hero. We will find out why in the 18th chapter. Okay? But suffice to say, Krishna very clearly tells Arjuna, Nimitta matram bhava savyasachin. You just become an instrument in my hand. Hand is mine, you are the instrument. That's all. So looks like you are doing, but somebody with deep intelligence will understand I am doing. Doesn't matter. Therefore, since I have already killed Drona, Bhishma, Jayadratha, Karna and everyone, you can kill them and not be disturbed. And you simply fight, all these people are going to be killed by you. This is how Krishna arranges. When he arranges something, this is how he will arrange it. You know. Even we know how in the war, when Jayadratha was to be killed, Jayadratha could not be killed so easily because he had some varam from Lord Shiva. So, Arjuna now understands that even Jayadratha will be killed. And we know what arrangement Krishna made so that Jayadratha could be killed. He even stopped the sun from setting, you know, or the set sun was asked to come back. Everything can be done. Yachakshureshha savita sakalagrahanam raja samasta suramurti rashesha tejaha. Yasyagnyaya brahmati sambrita kala chakro govindam adipurusham tamaham bhajami. So, Yachakshureshha savita sakalagrahana raja. So, he is the king of all the grahas, who Savita, Surya. But what is, whose Agnya he is following? Yasyagnyaya Brahmati Sambhrita Kala Chakro. This Kala Chakra, that is the wheel of the chariot of Surya, is moved by the order of Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. It is actually by Govinda's Agnya, by Govinda's order, that the chariot of the sun moves, and Kala, Kala takes everything away. We know that. So, when Krishna wants, he can ask, Surya, you stop now, because I want Arjuna to kill Jayadratha. After that, you can move. Until then, freeze time there. All these things are possible for Krishna. Now we understand, because everything is shown here. He has even shown Arjuna the preview of what is going to happen in the war. What more do you need? It's like a sneak peek, we call it, no? So that Arjuna is getting here, and he is getting all the assurances. All this, don't worry. Don't worry about Drona, don't worry about Bhishma, don't worry about Karna, because these three were the biggest worries for Arjuna. And he is also adding Jayadratha. Why? Because about Jayadratha also Arjuna had this doubt, or had this concern, that because he cannot be so easily killed. So using these four people's name, Krishna is assuring Arjuna that these four also I have taken care, don't worry. You simply stand in front and shoot the arrows. Killing is being done by me. How wonderful. And then Sanjaya now tells Dhritarashtra, O king, after hearing these words from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the trembling Arjuna offered obeisances with folded hands again and again. He fearfully spoke to Lord Krishna in a faltering voice as follows. Arjuna said, O master of the senses, the world becomes joyful upon hearing your name, and thus everyone becomes attached to you. Although the perfected beings offer you their respectful homage, the demons are afraid and they flee here and there. All this is rightly done. The 11 verses following this verse are all prayers offered by Arjuna. He is describing the fearful features and the pleasing features of Krishna's universal form. So that continues where Arjuna speaks about Krishna being even greater than Brahma. He says that you are the original creator. So why shouldn't people offer obeisances to you? You are the God of gods, Deva Deva, and you are the invincible source, the Sarva Karana Karanam. And you are the original, the oldest, the ultimate sanctuary of the cosmic world. You are the knower of everything. Krishna is the knower of everything. And you are all that is knowable. This will be discussed in 15th chapter. And goes on to say, you are fire, you are the moon, you are Brahma, you are the great grandfather, and obeisances to you from all sides, O unbounded power. You are the master of limitless might. You are all pervading, and thus you are everything. So one way to understand that Krishna is everything, because we have this doubting mind and intelligence. Straight off, if we are told, it is very difficult to accept, understand, and process that information. So, in order for people like us to comprehend it to some extent, Krishna is showing this form, and then Arjuna is glorifying this form. You see? And that reverence that one feels for God, you see? That reverence one has for God, that Arjuna is expressing here. You see? Because Arjuna now says that you are my cousin brother, and I used to call you just Krishna, Yadava, Sakha. I was calling you all these names because I did not know how glorious you were. I did not know that you are this person actually. Just imagine Arjuna's position. All his life he has known Krishna. They were like friends. When Krishna goes to meet the Pandavas, he will pay namaskar to Yudhishthira because Yudhishthira is elder. And then he will hug Bhima and Arjuna because they are same age. And Nakula and Sahadeva will pay namaskaram to Krishna because they were younger. So, this is the relationship Arjuna had with Krishna until this Vishwarupa Darshanam. This was their relationship. Now, having seen this, now Arjuna is very perturbed and he says, oh, really, I was such a fool. I was calling you by your first name and I did not even know. And he says that so many things that I have done because out of love, out of madness, I would have dishonored you, I would have, joked with you and all those things I did thinking that you are my friend, you are my relative. So, now Arjuna is saying, please excuse me for all those offenses, because now that relationship has changed a little bit, right? Because that intimacy has now given way to reverence, having seen the universal form. That is why the Acharyas explained that devotees actually they don't want to see this kind of form of Krishna. Why? Because then they will lose the intimacy. You see? When one has an intimate relationship with Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then that reverence factor will automatically come down. Because reverence always creates some distance, awe and reverence, Like in South India, we say Bhaya Bhakti, That means some distance between us and the Lord. But look at Arjuna, he's a friend. Look at Yashoda, she was Krishna's mother. And how those dealings are much more intimate, And those dealings give much more happiness to the heart. In awe and reverence, there is always some distance, And then you're looking up and you're. So some distance is there. That the devotee does not want. That is why he is not very keen to see this type of form. But here, of course, as we understand, there is a purpose for Arjuna to ask Krishna to show the form. There is a purpose for Krishna to show the form to Arjuna. And he goes on to further glorify Krishna. He says, you are the father of this complete cosmic manifestation of the moving and the non-moving. You are its worshipable chief, the supreme spiritual master. So, he is calling Krishna, you are the Akhila Guru. You are the Guru of everyone. We saw in chapter 10 how Krishna is actually Chaitya Guru sitting in our heart, and it is he who is sending us the Sadguru who will actually guide us back to Krishna, who is our Chaitya Guru. And here Arjuna is emphasizing that fact that you are the supreme spiritual master, you are the supreme Guru, you are the topmost Guru, the highest Guru. And thus I fall down, I offer you my respectful obeisances and I ask for your mercy. And Arjuna is now telling Krishna, just like a father tolerating the impudence of the son, please tolerate the wrongs I may have done to you. So now it is complete. Arjuna's surrender is complete. And then he goes on to say, I have seen this form which I have never seen before. I am happy, but at the same time my mind is disturbed with fear, Arjuna says. See, and devotee does not want to be afraid of God. You see, we don't want this God-fearing concept is not there in our Sanatana Dharma actually. We don't want to fear God. We want to love God as father, as brother, as friend, as lover, as our child. These are the various rasas. In the introduction to Bhagavad Gita, we read the various rasas, Sakhya rasa, there is Vatsalya rasa, there is Dasya rasa. So like that, we want to have that kind of intimate relationship with Supreme Lord, not that disturbed with fear. So Arjuna is asking Krishna, therefore, please reveal again your form as the personality of Godhead, Lord of Lords, O abode of the universe. So Krishna, Arjuna is calling him O abode of the universe. That is, he is the sitting place of everything. And Arjuna is requesting Krishna, please show me that Chaturbhuja form of yours, with Shankha Chakra Gada Padma. I want to see you in that form. So then Krishna will speak to Arjuna. My dear Arjuna, happily I have shown you by my internal potency, by my Antarika Shakti, I have shown you the supreme universal form within the material world. Nobody before you has seen this form, Krishna says. So this is specifically chosen and shown to Arjuna. Nobody has ever seen this form, unlimited and full of glaring effulgence. So from this we understand that, what the form Duryodhana saw is a different form. It did not have the same effulgence. It did not also show him that, Kalanala, that is the all-devouring fire of time. That also Duryodhana did not see. If he had seen that, he probably wouldn't have fought the war anyway. So, and Krishna wanted him to come for the war. So, then again Krishna says that this form, nobody has seen it, neither by studying Vedas, nor by doing yajna, nor by giving dana, nor by doing some punya, nor by tapasya. You cannot see this form. So you see how, as I said in the beginning, only when Krishna is merciful enough to show, we will be able to see. And this form specifically for Arjuna, for everybody to understand how he is the sitting place of everything. When Krishna says everything is in me, somebody is asking the question how, you can always quote from 11th chapter and show this is how Krishna is sitting everywhere. You see? And then Krishna says, you have seen this horrible feature, you have become bewildered, now let it be finished. With peaceful mind, you can now see the form you desire. And then Sanjaya says, Krishna then showed his real four-armed form, and at last he showed his two-armed form, thus encouraging Arjuna. So, even when Krishna appeared during his avatar in front of Vasudeva and Devaki, first Krishna came as Chaturbhuja Vishnu, so that they don't misunderstand him to be an ordinary human child. And then Krishna turned into his most beautiful two-armed form. So, the Saumya Vapu, which is the most beautiful form, is his two-handed form. And that is what finally he tells Arjuna, you see, to take away the fear of Arjuna. And that can be that Saumya Vapu, the two-handed form of Krishna. Brahma explains in his Brahma Samhita, Premanjana Churida Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilokayamti Yam Shyama Sundaram Achintya Gunaswarupam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajam. So, actually to see that Saumya Vapu, that most beautiful form of Krishna, one should have Prema Anjana. Anjana means, that Anjana that you wear on your, whatever you call it. Anjana. The English word, I can't get it. So that should be with love, the kajal that they wear. Okay. So Prema Anjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena. So when our eyes have this Prema Bhakti as kajal on them, then we will be able to see this most beautiful form of Sri Krishna. And then Arjuna tells Krishna, now I have seen you. Now I am very, very composed in my mind. And then Krishna tells Arjuna, this form of mine you are now seeing is very difficult to behold. Even the Devatas are ever seeking the opportunity to see this form which is so dear. And the form that you are seeing with your transcendental eyes cannot be understood simply by studying Vedas, nor by undergoing penances, nor by charity, nor by worship. It is not by these means that one can see me as I am. Krishna is reiterating that not by all these things that somebody can see me. Not by simply studying Vedas or doing some great tapasya, doing some great dana, no. Then this is actually glorifying bhakti. You see? Glorifying bhakti. Then how can you see Krishna? In the closing verses of this chapter, Krishna tells Arjuna, Bhaktya tvananyaya sakhya aham evam vidho Arjuna jnatum drashtum cha tatvena praveshtum cha parantapa. My dear Arjuna, only by bhaktya tva ananyaya, that is only by undivided devotional service, can you understand me as I am standing before you. Only in this way you can enter into the mysteries of my understanding. So, bhaktya tvananyaya. Again you see, bringing bhakti. So, praveshtitum. That means when you are entering into my understanding, to enter into my understanding, what you need? Bhakti. Ananya bhakti. This is what Krishna is repeating from chapter 7, if you see. Right? And then, in the last verse of the chapter, Krishna says, Mat karma krin mat paramo mat bhakta sanga varjitaha nirvaira sarva bhuteshu yasamam eti pandava. My dear Arjuna, my dear Pandava, he who engages in my pure devotional service, free from contaminations of fruitive activities and mental speculation, and he who works for me, who makes me the supreme goal of his life and who is friendly to every living being, he certainly comes to me. Krishna is giving very important 5 powerful instructions to Arjuna how to render pure devotional service. Speaks about Mad Bhakta, bhakti to be performed purely, and Sangha Varjita. Sangha Varjita means bhakti should be free from karma and jnana. Then third, mat karma krit. That means a devotee should work for Krishna. Mat parama. For a devotee, the goal of life should be Krishna. And nirvaira means no vaira with anybody, no enmity with anybody. So these 5 powerful instructions, Krishna is concluding his instructions to Arjuna in chapter 11. You see, in 7th chapter, Krishna said, I am the Supreme Lord, and we can see everything in this entire creation as expansion of his 2 energies. In chapter 9, Krishna again explained that everything is coming from him and everything should be seen in relationship with him. And then he said that everybody should worship him with devotion. Correct? In chapter 9. In chapter 10, Krishna again said, Aham sarvasya prabhavo, that I am the source of all spiritual and material world. Everything comes from me. And then towards the end of 10th chapter, he said, Ekamshena stito jagat. It is everything is just situated in one amsha, one fragment of mind. And then Krishna is saying, Krishna shows his universal form to tell Arjuna how that whole thing is situated there. You see? So, by understanding that Krishna as the origin of all the manifestation, all the Vishnus, everything origin is Krishna. So, that is why that Saumya Vapu, the 2-handed form of Shyamasundara Krishna, is the form that a devotee desires for. That is the form in which Krishna shows himself, gives darshan to his pure devotee. So, this is how chapter 11 gets concluded. Thank you very much for your participation. Hare Krishna.